the skills that he has, the wrestling that he has, and the size, he's a lot bigger than Ilia.
You know, I asked DC and Dustin both yesterday on my show. Why do you think people were overlooking Justin?
That's a good question. I mean,
when I look at Gaethje, I'm like, he's got all the tools and the weapons. Ilia Topuria is heavy on the lead leg. Justin Gaethje's got a heavy leg kick. He's got a great uppercut. He's fighting the shorter fighter in Ilia Topuria.
He's a bigger guy.
He's a way bigger guy.
He's not making 145 ever.
No.
He's a much bigger guy. He's a really good wrestler, and he's a nasty striker. And he's also a kind of a savage. Like he's
not kind of.
Yeah, I mean, like a
Total.
real savage, not like pretending. Like when he fought Michael Johnson in his UFC debut, he just threw himself at Michael Johnson, and he did the same thing with Paddy Pimblett.
Yeah,
the Paddy Pimblett fight, he could have fought that fight a lot cleaner.
Yep.
And he just said, "F you, I'm just gonna walk you down and just blast you every chance I get and break you up."
He always goes the extra mile, it seems, Ilia Topuria. He is cerebral when it comes to his training as well. And I saw this clip of how he's preparing for Justin Gaethje. Take a look at this. Fascinating stuff from Ilia. This is a neurostimulation with infrared light for several things: to improve focus, for mental recovery, to improve sleep. These secrets, they don't do this. The focus this gives before training is like not even 100 coffees. The effects of this kind of super focus, it really does look very strange, but it is so good. You have to pay a price for good things sometimes.
He didn't come up here to a place to where it's just a bunch of people. He came up here to a family. And that's what Onyx is. That whole group that's there, it's just one big old family. And it just keeps growing and growing, getting bigger and bigger and funner and funner. This is the biggest fight of his life, but I mean, we've said that 3 or 4 other times. So he's fighting another little short guy, and he's done really well against Chandler and Fazib and a few of the others. And I just see the same thing happening for this fight. I mean, this is what we trained for. This is what he put his whole life into since he was 4 years old, and I'm excited and ready for it to happen.
Have you faced anyone like Justin in terms of your MMA career? Maybe a wrestler who likes to strike, a guy who has kicks like that?
Every fighter is different. They bring different styles inside the octagon. I never faced anyone like Justin. He's a legendary fighter. I like him as a fan, and I always love to watch all his fights because they all very entertaining. Yeah, but when you talk about like me fighting him, yeah, as I told you before, I don't see any possibilities for him.
So when you look at Charles Oliveira and Max Holloway and Alexander Volkanovski and some of the pitfalls that they fell in against Ilia Topuria, is there one thing worth avoiding with this guy? You don't have to answer.
It's obviously position. It's position.
Yeah.
Dude, they got, I said it earlier, they got compromised. They got put on their back foot. They got put on their heels on his second shot when he was in the middle of a 5-punch combination. That's something that I cannot do.
Yeah.
I will move forward this fight. I've told you before, you said it during my last fight. I do believe that you have to move forward. And if that puts me into more dangerous positions, then I have to do that still.
I think that he has to go back to fighting the fights that he used to fight with the kicks. They've got to lead the dance. Ilia does have a very heavy boxing stance. So the stance is a little wider because he's always trying to generate power. But I think every bit of praise that Ilia Topuria receives is warranted because of how he has competed. I mean, that 3-fight run, bro, is one of the most impressive 3-fight runs I've seen in the history of fighting. Not the UFC. I'm talking fighting. From beating Volkanovski in the way that he did, to beating Max Holloway in the way that he did, to beating Charles Oliveira the way that he did. That is a 3-fight run that's unmatched by anyone in the history of our sport. So it's understandable why people view him in the way that they do, because I hold him in super high regard. I'm not so biased to the American fighter to think that Justin Gaethje's he's up against it. It's a very, very difficult fight.
What do you guys both think of the White House card? You think Gaethje and Topuria, you think that's going to be the fight of the night?
I don't know about fight of the night.
No?
Respectfully.
No? Why is that?
This man knows what he's doing.
No. I'm asking. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. You're a champ. You could just plead the fifth.
If we're going, and this is speaking honestly, and hopefully none of these guys take this the wrong way.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm not trying to bait you. You don't have to answer it, you know.
What I'm getting at, if you look at history from these guys' past few performances, the way I look at it is Topuria typically gets the fight done relatively early and clean on his part. The other side, he takes a lot of damage. He does get the win, but he takes a lot of damage in the process. You do that against a guy who's a very technical strategist when he's in there. It's hard to say that's going to be fight of the night. I mean, Gaethje can always create chaos, but I think it just gives Topuria one moment for him to land a clean shot, and that could potentially be it.
I like that fight. I think it's a great fight. I think, after spending a little bit of time with Justin Gaethje at the Celebrity Football, the way he was fighting Patty Pillman, I was kind of confused. It's like you kept circling his power. Then when you talked to him, he was like, he didn't hit hard. Patty doesn't hit hard. He can't kick. His footwork sucks ass.
Jesus.
So
yeah, that's why I just kind of went.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay, well, all right. And then him fighting Ilia Topuria. Ilia Topuria is probably one of the most technical, sound athletes that I've seen in mixed martial arts. Meaning that his cadence of a rhythm when he boxes, when he hits pads, everything he does is like strategic.
And that's what he did. And he's a scary dude, man. Justin's a scary dude. When he's on, and this is the last dance, right? So you know that he's going to be hyper focused for this fight.
I just can't see why people are overlooking him. Like, they just look at him and like, oh, he doesn't have a chance, can he get knocked out? I think they're taking away from
Ilia
what...
is so good.
Because Ilia has done it to
everybody.
All these guys that are also really good.
Got
And he
three
has
all-time
destroyed them.
greats.
Yes,
KOs
in a row. In a row.
Three in a row.
But let me
Max Holloway, Alexander Volkanovski, and Bronx, Charles Oliveira. That's
crazy.
3
KOs.
Yes.
Crazy.
I don't hold it against him, but
And
I
how
also
fast?
is it kind of somewhat? Is there an asterisk next to it a little bit because Volkanovski coming off the head kick knockout loss?
There's a little bit of that.
Max Holloway cutting from 55 to 45 after putting all the weight on, then getting knocked out. The only one I would say no is Charles because he goes up, fights Charles. Charles,
Charles,
that's the only one.
Max Holloway, yes, because he cut the weight, but that was his decision.
That's right.
And no one should have let Volkanovski take that fight.
No.
You got head kicked 4 months ago into a coma. There's no chance you should be taking a fight with the scariest puncher in the division.
Yeah, TJ,
That's exactly what everybody said.
He said that a million times. That
that's-
there's not going to be what people think. I think
I'm a fan of Gaethje, and he's actually a lot smarter than he shows when he's in the cage when he fights. But he just goes chaos, and those openings that he creates, Topuria's going to take advantage of him. He's going to put his lights out.
Yeah.
I saw you take a lot of heat on a separate note. I saw you take a lot of heat because you were clowning the tournament bracket system on Twitter. And I follow you on
so
Twitter.
stupid.
And I saw you got mad about the Scott Coker coming out and saying that he's going to come back with this new league tournament bracket system, whatever it's going to be called, the Grand Prix in some way. And I read Twitter just to see what these people say. But I saw you love just going at people.